Brace yourself. President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill isn't just another political talking point. It's a game-changing piece of legislation that could reshape the American energy landscape, especially in states like New Mexico. While much of the media buzz has focused on hot-button issues, such as immigration and tax cuts for the wealthy, the real shakeup, the part most people miss, is what this massive bill means for the oil and gas sector that powers New Mexico's economy and possibly threatens its environment. So, what's actually tucked into this 330-page legislative overhaul? When it comes to oil and gas, the bill radically shifts the rules of the game. For over half a century, the U.S. tried to balance various uses of public land, be it for oil, gas, timber, water, outdoor recreation, or scenery. Now this legislation catapults oil and gas to the top of the priority list, giving the industry nearly unchecked access to approximately 42 million acres of public land in New Mexico alone. In the past, agencies could say no to drilling if other land uses were more beneficial. But now their hands are largely tied. Regulatory power has been slashed, and industry interests are in the driver's seat. But here's where it gets controversial. The bill not only expands industry control, it strips away requirements for federal agencies, like the Bureau of Land Management, BLM, to consult with local landowners, especially those with split estate properties, where the surface is owned by individuals, think farmers and ranchers, while the minerals below ground are managed by the federal government. No more check-ins, no more oversight. If a company wants to drill, landowners and BLM have almost no say. You might wonder, isn't this just an extension of what started with Trump's executive orders promoting energy dominance? Absolutely. Those early moves set the tone. This bill is the follow-through. It's been a one-two punch. First, ramping up administrative pressure to prioritize fossil fuel development. Then, using legislation to cement those priorities into law. Effectively dispensing with bothersome environmental reviews and sidelining even basic protections that previously mitigated the impact of drilling. Oh, and the so-called energy emergency declared by the administration? According to critics, this is a manufactured crisis exploited to justify opening public lands to fossil fuel extraction, while simultaneously making it harder for renewables to gain a foothold, or for U.S. coal to compete abroad. But there's another layer. The famous drive to cut regulations didn't stop at the rulebook. It's also targeting the people who write and enforce those rules. Under the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, a Musk-inspired agency, the government downsized critical positions in the Environmental Protection Agency, BLM, and across the Interior Department. Many top specialists, scientists, biologists, regulatory experts have been shown the door. With staffing gutted, oversight is far weaker, and there's a creeping shift in agency culture as those aligned with administration priorities remain while others leave. The result? Agencies become less neutral, less effective watchdogs of public interest. Let's not forget, oversight isn't just a federal job. New Mexico's own agencies, like the Oil Conservation Division, are left picking up the pieces. They're made up of capable and dedicated people, but always operating with limited resources and staff. And their mandate is different. They don't have the capacity or authority for deep dive environmental reviews on public lands. As federal involvement shrinks, state agencies have a bigger burden, but not the tools or funds to truly fill the gap. And this is where the financial squeeze hits home. Federal budget cuts are whittling away critical funding streams. Programs for cleaning up orphaned oil wells or investing in environmental justice have already seen support dwindle or disappear. This is especially alarming, given that New Mexico relies heavily on federal dollars for environmental cleanups, regulatory staffing, and community outreach. Is the state expected to plug these budget gaps on its own? The odds aren't looking great. The legal front is shifting too. Traditionally, organizations like the Western Environmental Law Center held federal agencies accountable in court for environmental harms or threats to public health. But with the current Justice Department staffed by people who seem to oppose those ideals, and with diminished human resources, litigation is tougher than ever. Suddenly, battling for environmental protections feels like running uphill as the federal government takes positions starkly different from previous administrations. The big question looms. Even if the political tides turn in the future, is it possible to rebuild lost institutional knowledge and agency capacity? Many experts argue it could take decades, or might be impossible to truly repair. Not that the pre-Trump era was perfect, of course. America still struggled with ecosystem decline and insufficient climate action, but things appear to be moving from bad to worse under the latest changes. And that leads to the crux of the debate. Can New Mexico